Hi guys, Tara Underwood here, real estate agent with Reinhardt Realty. Today is our second video in our real estate knowledge series, and today we're going to be talking about what duties your real estate agent owes to you. So it will vary a little bit based on what type of relationship you have, but that's a discussion that we'll kind of get into next week. What are the different options as far as relationships you can enter into with an agent? But today we will really be focusing on what your agent should be doing with you throughout your transitions, your transactions, and your work with them. So this is pretty much fundamental across the board, across states. It may look a little different from state to state as to how these duties are presented to you and how you learn about them and acknowledge that you've been told about these duties by your agent, but really the same fiduciary duties span across all states. So one of the first things that your agent should be doing with you is explaining to you these duties that they're required to work with you and show you in your relationship together as you work together. And that could look a little different from state to state. So we're in a unique position where we are right on the border between North and South Carolina. So this here is the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. This is North Carolina's kind of pamphlet that walks through these duties and that your agent really should be going through with you. So once you begin your work with the agent, this is one of the first things that they will do with you. They will just kind of talk you through this pamphlet, which goes through the duties that I'll talk through today. So this is what it looks like if you're in North Carolina. And if you're in South Carolina, it looks just a little different. So you would be introduced to the South Carolina Disclosure of Real Estate Brokerage Relationships document at the beginning of your work with the agent. So they should give you one of these, talk through this with you. And again, it just highlights the duties that they're going to owe you based on the relationship type that you have with them. Okay, so what duties does your agent owe you? That's very important that you know this because this will affect how you work with them throughout each transaction and your time together. So the first thing that they really owe you is care and diligence. It's important that the real estate agent is asking you questions to know what specifically your needs are, what you're looking for, whether you're a buyer, you know, where you want to be, making sure that the property fits all of the needs that you have related to that, whether it's going to be running a business from the home or anything like that. So basically just researching, working with you, and showing good care and diligence. The second thing that they owe you is obedience. So we are to follow all of your lawful commands, and the key word here is lawful. But really, we provide you with the knowledge that we have. We've been through trainings. We have extensive on-the-job experience with negotiations, how to find information that may be important to you, kind of statistics related to how things have sold in the neighborhood that help you kind of make some important decisions throughout the process. So we provide you with that knowledge, but ultimately you're the driver. So you're basically telling us what you want us to do and how you want to proceed, and we are to follow that as long as it's lawful instruction. So that's obedience. That's two. Loyalty. So it is our job to put your best interest at the forefront at all times. So not to put our best interest ahead of you, not to put other clients' best interest ahead of you just to close a transaction, but to really put your best interest forth at all times and making sure that we're working in your best interest. So that's three. Number four is disclosure. So as we learn different facts about the property or different facts about maybe the other side of the transaction, whether it's the buyer or the seller, it's our duty to disclose those things to you. If we know that a train track is being built behind the property that you're looking at, and that will happen within the next 2 or 3 years, it's our duty to disclose that to you because that will affect whether you may want to buy the property or not, or move forward with the property. So different things which we call material facts, which are things that affect the property, we are to disclose to you. So that way, again, just it keeps you fully informed throughout the process so you can make the best decision for you. So that's number 4. Number 5 is accounting. So money is obviously involved in every real estate transaction, whether that's due diligence money, if you're in North or South Carolina, earnest money, which is the money you kind of put down in good faith. So once you put those monies down, it's really our job to kind of let you know who gets those money, when those monies need to be delivered by, how those monies will be handled throughout the course of the transaction, how you may either choose to forfeit some of those monies, or your right to have those monies throughout the transaction will relate. So it's our job to keep you abreast of the accounting, where the monies are going, and how that affects you in the transaction. So that's 5. And then 6 is confidentiality. So confidentiality, you're going to be telling us a lot of important information, whether if you're the buyer, what's your motive for buying, maybe what's the most that you want to spend in the real estate transaction. If you're the seller, maybe you're telling us your motivation for moving, what's the lowest price you'll take, those type of things. So it's really our job to keep that information confidential as we work with you to promote your best interests throughout the transaction and working with other sides. So again, some of these duties may be somewhat limited based on the relationship type that you have with your agent, which we will get into that a little further next week, the different types of relationships you can have with a real estate agent. But those are basically the 6 fiduciary duties and obligations that your realtor should have to you as they work with you through each transaction in your working relationship together. So again, if you're in North Carolina, make sure that they're going over this brochure with you. And if you're in South Carolina, it's going to look a little something like this. So again, this will be one of the first things that should take place in your work with your real estate agent. So I hope this helped. And if you have any questions, please just shoot me an email. You will see my email address at the end of the video. And stay tuned for next week when we talk about the different relationships that you can have with your agent. Thanks, guys.